written. So now, first of all, we have to learn what is the meaning of duties. Duties means obligations, our moral responsibility. Is it clear? Actually, duty means something that you feel that you have to do something because it is your moral duty, moral obligation, moral responsibility. This is called duty. This is called duty. We have the rights. Everyone is very conscious to their rights, but they are not all, most of them are not very sincere regarding their duties. And you know, if a person does not perform his duties, others cannot enjoy their rights. So, to avail the rights properly, we must have to be dutiful. We must have to be dutiful because we have some responsibility to our nation, to our society. As you know, we have the right to criticize the government
Yes, sir.
if she fails to provide us all the facilities. It is our right. But we have the duty also. Our duty is to take security, safety of the government offices, national properties, constitutions, and all the things which are very urgent for our survival. So here duty means obligation or moral duties. What is the importance in this slide? I had tried my best to give you sufficient facts about the importance of fundamental duties. Without fundamental duty, without duty, our life is meaningless. If any person wants to set up the rule and regulation in the society, in the country, in your locality, if it is his duty, if it is his right, and if person is not dutiful, is not obeying the instruction or doing something wrong apart from their duties, then there will no meaning of right. So to make the right meaningful, fruitful, successful, duty is must. So without duty, there is no meaning of right. Next, duty precedes rights. Precedes means come before. Right comes after duties. First of all, we have to be dutiful. After that, we have to avail our rights. So duty is very important. Next, in 1976, through 42nd Amendment, these are added in our Constitution. Something was added in our Constitution regarding the duties. As we know, the number of fundamental duties are 11. And it is expected, it is anticipated that these duties must be performed by all. Okay? So these are the importance of fundamental duties. Again, I am telling you, fundamental duties are our moral responsibilities, obligations. There is no meaning of right without following our duties. Duties are important because it comes before rights. To make our right fruitful, successful, we must have to obey or follow the duties. This was added in 1976 by the 42nd Amendment. amendment was not added. In 1976, 42nd Amendment reforms in the Constitution was brought in this field, duties. Number of fundamental duties are 11. These duties, about these duties, it is expected, it is anticipated that it will be performed, followed by all. Right? Now, next slide is about 11 fundamental duties in India. First, to abide by the Constitution. To abide by means to follow, to obey. To obey, we must have to abide by the Constitution. We must have to follow our Constitution. And we have to show the respect about its ideals and institutions, national flag and national anthem. National flag, you have seen in your book also, the picture is given. I'm sorry, I could not paste it. Feed in our slide, in my slide. Next, I will take a step in this regard. Next, to cherish. Here, to cherish means to love very much and want to protect. To cherish means to love and protect very much to anything and follow the noble ideals which inspired our national movement leader. Right? For example, liberty, equality, fraternity, sovereignty, justice. Now next is to uphold and protect the sovereignty, unity and integrity of India. It is our duty to protect, to safeguard, to save and keep it high. The sovereignty. Sovereignty means supreme power of a country. Supreme power here means the power which cannot be dictated by internal forces as well as outer forces. For example, our Indian government is independent, free, supreme, all powerful. No any other country can dictate to our government, neither any organization within our country can compel the government to take any decision against their mercy or against the will of the government. So sovereignty means supreme power. Supreme means not controlled by outer forces as well as the internal forces. Unity, you know, to be one. Integrity means united. Integrity, not separated. Our country is one. No doubt there are states and union territories, but all of them are the unit of our one country, India. We all are integrated, not separated. So these are the fundamental duties, and we must have to obey, to respect, regard, and follow, believe in it. Next is fourth one is fourth one is ready to render national service and to defend the country. No doubt, we are the son and daughter of our motherland. So it is our first and foremost duty to be ready to give service in the interest of nation. If nation requires our needs, services, we must have to sacrifice our life for the sake of nation. And we have always been ready to defend, to protect, to save our country. Next, it is our duty to promote harmony. Harmony means coordination, cooperation, sense of oneness among society, and the spirit of common brotherhood. It is our duty. We have to believe that we all are brothers and sisters. All the persons are brothers. There is no place of caste, creed, community, which draws the line of demarcation and differences among us, which segregates our feeling of oneness. So we have to boycott all the ill feelings and believe in brotherhood. Now, next 6 point is first, sixth is to value and preserve the rich heritage of our composite culture. As we know, heritage means legacy that we get from our ancestors in our country. There are so many important things in our history which are our legacy, like old temples, mosques, Red Fort, Taj Mahal, many historical sites, Ajanta, Ellora, so many things are there which are the example of heritage. And we have to save, preserve our composite culture. Composite culture means the culture which is made by mixing of many things. Really, our culture is composite because our culture is mixed by many communities, by the people of different community, different language spoken community or group of people, different religious group of people, different regional people, and in spite of having differences in the term of caste, creed, community, religion, sex, color, scheme, we are one. So it is called composite culture. Composite culture means a culture made by many groups, many religions, many languages. Now next is to protect and improve the natural environment and to have compassion for all, right? To have the compassion for all. So here it is our duty to protect our culture, and compassion here means a strong feeling of sympathy, right? Compassion means a strong feeling of sympathy. So in this way, it is our duty. Now next is to develop scientific temper. Here scientific temper means a way of feeling something. I mean, we should be logical in our attitude, in our thinking. So it is our duty to develop some scientific thought, scientific ideas, not the blind faith, not the biased ideas, not the prejudiced ideas. We should be logical always. And we have to develop humanism. Humanism means a thought in which human beings are given importance, in which it is considered that we all human beings are equal and we should not exploit or discriminate to others. Humanism means human being is the most important thing on the earth and everything is made for human being, and we all human beings are one, equal. When this feeling is highlighted, everything is made for the human being under humanism, it means it increases or encourages our scientific development because it is our habit, it is our nature that we should do everything by the help of nature for the proper progress of human being. Now next is the spirit of inquiry and reforms we have to develop, and it is our duty. Now next is three more is left. Ninth is to safeguard the property and absorb violence. To safeguard the property, personal property as well as the national property, right? It is our duty not to destroy, not to wreck the national property. What happens whenever any call to close market or whole India is done or called by any political party, opponents begin to destroy the national property in their protest. When the public demand is ignored, what happens? Public comes on the road and they begin to destroy the public property. Actually, it is not our duty. Our duty is to protect it, preserve it, safeguard it, and absorb. Absorb means give up, chhod dena, absorb violence. We should not be violent in anymore. Now, next is to strive towards excellence in all the sphere of individual and collective activity. Here, to strive means try very hard to achieve. Strive means to try very hard to achieve something. What something here? Toward excellence. I mean to reach at extreme on the top of the development in all sphere of individual as well as collective activity. Now, last but not the least is what? Parents or guardians should provide opportunity for education to his or her ward, especially those boys and girls who are between the age of 6 to 14 years of the age. It is our duty. It is the duty of parents also. So now in this way, these were the 11 fundamental duties which must be followed by us, performed by us. Next topic is directive principles of state policy. As we know, in our constitution, fundamental rights are given, and one policy is also added, and that is called directive principles of state policy, right? Actually, directive principles of state policy are the guidelines or directions, right? These are the directions given by the constitution to our government. Actually, this type of things were taken from the other constitution, and it was taken from the Constitution of Ireland. Directive principles of state policies are the directions or guidelines given by the Constitution to the government. For what purpose? To follow these guidelines in course of framing the rules and regulations, so that the basic goal to make our country a welfare state should be achieved. The basic aim of our directive principle of state policy is what? To make the state a welfare state. Welfare means kalyankari, where everyone has the sufficient opportunity for their development, for their peace and progress. This type of state is known as welfare state, where the government is determined to do everything for the betterment, for the welfare of the each and every people. So directive principle of state policy is helpful to set up a welfare state in India. It is very convenient to achieve our national goals. Unless and until we follow the directive principle of state policy, we can't get the basic goals or national goals. So it is helpful, comfortable, convenient to achieve our national goals. What is our national goals? Equality, liberty, fraternity, justice, so and so forth. Where all the people can achieve all these things, this is our national goal. And in achieving these national goals, these directive principles of state policy are very helpful. These guidelines, that's the government to achieve the goals. And next one is, it helps transform India from a political democracy to an economic and social democracy. Listen carefully. Actually, this was said by B.R. Ambedkar. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar has told this line, has added this line, told this line. Actually, we have got the political democracy in 1947. We became free from the British. We set up our own rule. As you know, democracy is a government in which people form the government. People have right to elect their representatives and set their government. Democracy is a form of government where everyone has the liberty, equality, fraternity, and all the chances for all-round development. But if these directive principles of state policy will not be followed, we will get only a political freedom, political democracy, not the economic or social democracy. Okay, so in this way, it gives the equality to the people, it gives the chances for proper progress all to all the people in society so that they can be achieve truly democracy. Now next is, these are the importance. 5 lines are here. These are the importance. Now how many kinds are of directive principles of state policy? There are so many, but these are divided into 4 groups. Economic principles, social principles, and Gandhian principles, principles related to international peace and security. From each 2-3 points are given in your book, we have to explain. Economic principle, here 2 principles are written. To secure equal pay for equal work, right? To secure equal pay for equal work for both men and women. Nowadays, in some extent happens, but earlier it used to be done, it used to happen to far extent that male and female were not given the equal wages for the equal work. So this principle is given in this part, or this is the guideline, this is the suggestion, guidance, direction to the government, in which it advises the government to give the same payment or wages to male or female, male or women for the same work. And nowadays it is happening also. Next, to provide adequate means of livelihood for all. Directive principle of state policy is only to achieve the welfare state condition. A welfare state is a state where no one should die in lack of food, shelter, and clothes. Everyone should have the means of the livelihood of earning. So it suggests, it guides the government to provide the proper, appropriate, adequate means of livelihood for all. Now next is to make efforts to raise the standard of living and public health, life and public health. It says the government to take some steps which help the people to raise their living standard. Their living standard means they must have the means of earning. They should have the facilities of reading, writing, and getting education, imparting education to their wards, to avail the facilities given by the government, and they should be very careful to their health. Next is social principle of basic principle of state policy to guard children against exploitation and moral degradation. You have already studied in the fundamental rights about the child labor, right against exploitation. No one can employ any boys or girls below the age of 14. Actually, this is based on the principles or guidelines which guard our children against exploitation and moral degradation. Next is Gandhian principle to organize village panchayat. What happened on the rural area? We have the panchayat, gram panchayat system. Actually, it was advocated by Gandhiji also. What happened on the grassroots or on the village level? So many problems arises, and due to the illiteracy, ignorance, and lack of road-mindedness, people starts fighting against each other even on a smaller matter. So, to save them from the violent activities and to provide justice, peace, progress, there was need to have a village panchayat. This was the Gandhian principle. This is the Gandhian principle, and as you know, on that basis, Gram Panchayat is also formed. Next is promote cottage industries. I mean, very small industries where the poor people, common people can start a small business to enrich their economic condition. Next is international. To maintain just and honorable relations between to maintain just and honorable relations between nations. Now it is our duty to set up good relations among the different nations so that war can be stopped, ill feeling can be stopped, and to promote international peace and security. Now I am going to unmute you all